Hey guys, what's up everybody? I hope you all are doing good today. Man, as Hey guys, what's up everybody? I hope you all are doing good today. Man, as you know that we are in the campaign to raise 25,000 euros to get Swahili Nation One Africa office. And I'm just here guys to ask you that we really, really, really need your help. Why 25,000 euros? Because we need 15,000 euros to secure the place for the whole year, and 5,000 euros to buy furnitures for the office as well as utility. But also we need extra 5,000 euros for the studio. We need to buy camera, we need to buy lightnings, we need to buy green screen, chairs, and some other stuff for the studio. So in total, we need 25,000 euros. And that's why we started a campaign of €5 for 5,000 people. We're just asking to get 5,000 people, and each one of y'all to only give €5 in order to reach our goal of 25,000 euros. And you are free to give more than €5, but we want to ask you guys to participate, to be part of this, because these offices are not for me, but these offices are for the Africa. You know, having offices and doing what we do, it will help us to do our work in a huge capacity more than the way we do right now, because all the time I just do it from home, but there's a lot of things and a lot of opportunity they're passing by simply because we don't have office, the place where we can work. So we're asking you guys to join our hands and please be part of this change. We mentioned earlier that this is going to be the year of action, and guys, this is One Africa in action. Come and collaborate with us, do with us. And one thing I can promise you guys, every single euro that you will give, it will be used for a greater cause, for the office. And you guys will be able to see everything and all the reports and everything that is happening. We need you guys. We cannot do this without you. So please help us out. Until right now, we already raised 1,000, almost 1,500 euros. But the journey is still long. We still have like more than 24,000 euros to raise. So please help us to spread the word. Share the link of GoFundMe. Go to our page of GoFundMe. Just write Swahili Nation One Africa Funding. You'll see our page there on GoFundMe. And please donate anything you can, and we'll highly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I love you guys. Hey guys, how is everybody doing today, man? It's good to be here today. It's good to see everybody who is joining right now. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Hey, I see His Excellency is already here, man. It's good to see everybody in the team. It's good to see everyone here. So without wasting time, I'm just going to put in His Excellence right now so that we continue. His Excellence, what's up, man?
His Excellency, how are you? All good, His Excellency. How about you? What's happening? How's things? That side?
Yeah, man, the things here are going, well, even though it's too slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the issues that we have in our countries. Things are going well, but it's too slow. Like, it's very slow, like it's very slow. That's why the other day I had to come and to talk about time, because things are very slow, and you see how you can waste time like every single day, and I'm always wondering, like, how much can we save our people through this time, so yeah. It's like that.
Wow,
I'm excited.
I'm also excited to be here, His Excellency. A great show indeed. I think this has been a long time coming. I know that the mastermind behind this is Pi himself. And a couple of people as well.
and he's joining us as well. He's right here in the in the dashboard. So we're just gonna put him through right now. Even though I don't even know how Pi looks like. Pi, I think now is the time, man. I need to see you, my brother. Not really now, but I think it's the time to see you, brother. What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, Pi, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Look forward to this episode.
Yeah. How are you today, man?
You said you wanted to see my face? Come on, man, you should know this by now. I'm the hidden hand.
I'm really curious. You know, you're kind of guy that, you know, I think a lot of people want to see. You know, Pi. Who is this Pi? You know.
Okay, man. I'll give you a concession. Maybe one of these days we go off air. I'll turn my camera on, and then you just say hi.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Let's do that. Let's do that, man. It'll be amazing to see, because
maybe even after this, I'll turn my camera on when we go off live.
That's cool. That's cool. So we'll end the stream, and then we're gonna be here, and then we can just, you know, see one another. This is cool. I guess everybody here wanna see you. Marit wanna see you too. I hope Pi is keeping it as a surprise. So maybe one day you're gonna see him. Oh, one day when I meet you, man. I don't know, because I'm gonna meet you with my camera. So I don't know. Maybe that's gonna be the day, you know, that this is that guy. Oh, I can do this. You know, when I meet you, I can just put you in the camera, and then I don't mention who is this guy, and then I want people can guess. I'm not gonna say who is the guy in the camera, but everybody guess. This is I'm just telling them right now. So
no, we could do it. You can just introduce me as a traveler in Tanzania. You don't have to say it's me. Well, then people gonna know my voice though.
Of course. Yeah, they know your voice, man. They know.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, it's good to see you, my brother here. Well,
yeah,
we're gonna have one more person here today. You know, I had a conversation with her, you know, last time, and she's some Kelisiwe. So she's gonna be here with us today, you know, and we're just gonna be having this conversation. But as we're waiting for her to come here, because we wanna, you know, dive into, you know, South Africa topic. Pi, do you mind to talk a little bit about it, because you are behind this, man, and you know,
yeah, I really wanted to know more about South Africa because a lot of times, many shows, even shows that Ezra has been on, we talk about how we need construction, we need industrialization, we need like we need to be able to do it in a way that it won't affect the environment as well. I know a lot of people that are on membership believe that we shouldn't copy the West when it comes to industrialization of ruining the environment. And then I look at South Africa and I say, wait, South Africa has all these things. So I was just more curious on what's going on in South Africa, especially how there's so many different types of people there that are from even from the continent. There are a lot of different Africans that are from the continent, from every different region, and there are also a lot of foreigners there as well. So I was really curious of what's going on there right now.
Yeah, indeed. Also, you know, on my side, you know, there's been things happening in South Africa recently, and I think I don't know if we should start with them as we're waiting for some Kelisiwe. You know, there was a flood happened. And, you know, recently, you know, those teenagers who were killed, and also just, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, there were also another, you know, a lot of people, you know, being killed. Those are kind of things I think we also need to, you know, kind of update, because that's why we do in SNN, you know, to kind of like know from our brother here, His Excellency, you know, it's sad, it's sad stories, but, you know, I think we need to, you know, to kind of like know, you know, what's really going on, you know what I'm saying? So, His Excellency.
Yes, there's a lot that's happening in the country at the moment. Where do we even start? There's a lot, man. Where do we start? Oh, the floods. In fact, this year we've had a couple of floods. Besides the one that you're talking about now, we had the biggest flood was in Durban. It's the port city, the third biggest city in the country. They had floods around that state or that province in the beginning of the year. Not really in the beginning, just around maybe Feb, March, somewhere there. There was like lots of like big floods where people lost homes, lost houses, and businesses as well. So yeah, I mean, that province has gone through much. I mean, even last year, some people might remember there was some unrest as well. July last year. It's been a year since there was riots and stuff when the former president was arrested and taken to prison. There was some riots because he's from that province. So the province called Kwazulu Natal, which is most people say is the home of the Zulus. But yeah, he's predominantly it's Zulu speaking people who live in that province. So yeah, and yeah, there was riots last year. Same time, around this time last year, there was riots. People were burning business because the former president was arrested for, I think it was defying something to do with him not appearing to the court and yeah, absconding or something like that, not coming to refusing his court appearances and stuff. Then he was arrested and and he went on the last day. All the sign was defiant that he's not going. But on the last hour, they escorted him and they escorted him to the maximum prison, and he was there for a month or two, and then I think he came out of medical parole because he got sick. He's really old now; he's like 80. So yeah, I think so much is happening, and the law in the country is still fairly good. In terms of the constitution is very good. It's just people are not satisfied. Sometimes they think it's too good for even bad people because they can use it to it gives everyone a chance, it gives everyone a chance. You are only guilty until the judge says you are guilty, until the law says you are guilty. But if you're not, even if we have perception about you being corrupt, that does not mean anything until you are found guilty in the court of law. That is the ultimate law that stands. So yeah, but yeah, we've had those incidents last year. People, I mean, went on a looting spree. Malls were looted, warehouses. So that was one of the sad things that happened last year. And this year again, they had floods. Early in the year, they had floods in the same province or state. I know people use state, province, or districts and stuff. So, but yeah, in the case of South Africa, they're using provinces instead of like states, like this is what state and stuff. So we use the province. We use province as a state. So yeah, that was one of the cases. And then there was also an issue of what's this? Because the floods. Okay, people lost homes. I mean, there were so many issues. People lost homes, and this one was not just the poor, because obviously in most cases we only see the sad cases, but it was even some of the nice places where the so-called rich people live, and they also lost some properties there because even coastal homes like beach homes and all that, some of them were flooded and damaged, and others survived. But yeah, that's basically that. Again, we had an issue of there's another group called Operation Dudula. It's been making headlines as well, where they are more against, they are more about, they say South Africans first, and then anyone from any other place after. So, and they've been pushing their own agenda in terms of going, sometimes intimidating people, other people's businesses, mostly Africans, to be honest. Intimidating their businesses, asking for papers, whether your business is registered, all that stuff. Do you have a permit? And, like doing the work of the Home Affairs in a way, or the Foreign Affairs. Yeah, immigration's work, while that's not their job, but they were doing that. I don't know if, that's another group. It's called Operation Dudula. They've been making headwaves. I think we should try to find even that guy who's a founder of that movement. And yeah, we'll see how we can get hold of him. Maybe bring him here one time if he allows us to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's been one of those things where most people were calling their movement a xenophobic movement to so many people saying, nah, this is like a xenophobic act. Why does it look like you're only targeting only Black Africans who are doing business in the country, you know? And their cause they always say no, they're just looking after South African interests, and they want to make sure that everyone is legal in the country and they are documented, they're doing business legally instead of illegally and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's been a debate as well that the country has been trying to debate about, but it's not really something that I can say the whole country has really sat down to really talk about it like clearly and in a constructive way. It's always the group, and then the government is trying to calm such things down to try to disperse those people and try to allay people's fears away and all that. But I think it's something that needs the people to sit down, everyone, all the people from other different countries, and even the nationals and even the government to sit down and choose a way that they can work in such a way that there won't be this thing of suspicion, because there's that suspicion of there's that suspicious eye amongst the people, you know, where the others suspect that these people are doing illegal businesses, and if somebody who's not legal in the country, if they do crime, it's not easy to find them because that person is not in any of the system, it's not registered in the country. So things like that. I mean, immigration must fix those things as well in terms of how they can allow people, and also try to stabilize the region as well. I think it goes to all our countries to try to stabilize our regions and our countries in such a way that my neighbor's problem is my problem. I should not say those people must sort out themselves. We need to really make sure that we sit down as a region or as a people to say, hey, country X is going through like an economic hardship, and most of their people are running to countries that are having the economic means, or they are well off. People are running there in numbers. How do you make sure that people who are coming can be legal? And also, how do you strengthen your borders as a country? And how do you also integrate people? Because I think some of the things is people sometimes forget that we come from different cultures, different upbringings. And when you put people in a melting pot where they're all trying to learn one another, there was bound to be tensions now and then. And how do you make sure that people can sit down, and how do they resolve issues when they're experiencing such? And what else? That's one part. And then obviously the politics as well. The politics have the politics are very interesting in terms of the movements. The politics are very interesting. I know a lot of people know the ANC, they know the EFF, they know maybe the DA, but there's other parties that are there as well. But the three popular ones, and I'm sorry to those who might not belong to those three parties or who might not voted for that, but there's many other parties that are out there. But I'm just mentioning the ones that are more. Oh, there's another one called Action SA as well recently. They've also been making inroads in terms of garnering support and people supporting their movements and their cause. But the popular ones, you know, it's ANC, which is the oldest political party in the continent, and it's called African National Congress. Then we have the likes of EFF. I think EFF is it's Economic Freedom Fighters, which is the party that's most people know Julius Malema via that party. And you've got the DA. I think it's called the Democratic Alliance. The Democratic Alliance, by the way, it controls this city. This is a city of Cape Town. They run that province. That whole state is run by an opposition. That's where the ANC does not really do well in terms of elections so far. And the DA have kind of shown as well. If I can just talk a bit about the politics. In terms of the city of Cape Town getting clean audits in terms of their finances. That's one of the things that they've always used to garner support from the nation to say, hey, for example, Cape Town, it's one of the well-run city. Yes, there's obviously social inequalities in Cape Town and all that. But in terms of the funds, the finances, people have always said when they're doing audits, they always get a clean audit. It's where they can account for each and every money. So, Yeah, and then they've made inroads, and also the big cities, by the way. Johannesburg is also one of the most popular cities in the country, which is the economic city. I'll call it the economic city because the stock exchange is there, and most of the big companies are based there in Johannesburg. And yeah, Johannesburg is the biggest city, the economic city. When you say Johannesburg, it's like you saying Dar, you know, and so Dar es Salaam, you know, it's there's no way you cannot know that city. You know, it's like the biggest airport is there in the country, is also in Johannesburg. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, it's also not run by ANC. The metro, the actual city, which is this city here, it's not run by the current ruling party of the whole country. It's run by an opposition party called DA.
So, when you say running by, you mean like literally running by, or you mean the majority?
The majority, the city council or the city, the mayor is not from the.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much like the US, right? How they operate, right?
Oh yeah, you can get like such things where, let's say, for example, New York, I think the mayor there is a Democrat, but I think even the whole state of New York is mostly the Democrats that normally win that state. But in this case, the city itself is run by the city of Johannesburg is run by an opposition party mayor, but then the state as a whole, like the governor of the state or the what we call premier of the state, is from the ruling party, which is the ANC. So it's funny politics, but I think there's a lot of changes happening in politics, and some people even believe that maybe the ANC might not come into power come 2024, which is the national elections in the country, because they've lost, I mean, from over 66% of votes for winning, like with a big majority in parliament and even in the cities and stuff, to getting like 7% now. So there's a lot of change, and some people are even making fun and saying it's becoming maybe a rural party, like where the old generation that still says we will not move from this party because you fought for this nation, you've done this and this and that. But there's a new generation of young leaders and youth that is not going to be that do not believe in past politics. You say, you've done this, yes, thank you, but what are you doing now in the country? Is the youth moving forward? Are they getting opportunities? Are they getting employed? Are they getting things that really develop them as a society? If the answer is no, the youth of today are moving away from such politics. So, but yeah, it's also the party of Nelson Mandela. For some people who might know Nelson Mandela, I think he was the most famous person at some point after Coca-Cola. He was the most famous icon in the world, or known figure. They say if you go anywhere in the world, you'll find a Coca-Cola. Even countries where you get sanctions, you get Coca-Cola. So Mandela was one of the, like, I think in the early 2000, he was one of the well-known figures. Wherever you go, people will just, oh, that's Mandela, you know. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, great leaders of the past that were very powerful and who really worked for the African continent and who really believed in the liberation of Africans as a whole. And so, but yeah, those are some of the things that are happening. And yeah, we've seen other parties like your EFF also making inroads, Ghana support. I mean, most of the guys from EFF come from the ANC. They were groomed by the ANC as well. And yeah, but there's a lot that's happening. So, and obviously some people love Julius Malema's ideology of one Africa, of one currency, a currency backed by our natural resources. And others just think they are being opportunistic. That thing will never be realized in Africa. There'll always be those views. Everyone is entitled to their view, obviously, and what they bring to the table as the main reason why that will not happen. And also, I mean, if you look at EFF, by the way, most people don't realize the EFF is making inroads in terms of a lot of countries. They're not just in South Africa only. In Namibia, I think in Zimbabwe. So they're looking at Africa. They're not looking at one country. So soon we might. I'm not sure if in Tanzania they're already there. In Kenya they're already there. Maybe they have some representative, but once they take off, they'll take off because it's a lot of young people, and that's one thing I like about them. It's young people who are brave to go into politics, while majority of youth are going into entertainment and other things. But also with other parties, there are other young people as well, like in the ANC, in the DA, and everywhere. But I'm just saying a party where it's led by young people. I mean, guys who are like early 40s, who just turned 40, somewhere there. So it's quite interesting times for the country politically. Things can swing anyway in the coming election. So yeah, and what else? I don't know. I'll pause here for now.
Yeah, I just realized that we didn't pray at the beginning. I just realized I was in a hurry, and so we're just gonna pray first, and then you're gonna keep talking about you can talk about the incident that happened recently before we go back to the history of South Africa. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about the incident that happened, with teenagers, and the other incident happened, I guess, 2 days ago. I don't know if you're aware with that. I saw some stuff, on the news, and I just wanted to, to know. I think even everybody here wanted to catch up to understand, like, really what really went down, in this situation, and what can we do as One Africa, in times like this. Yeah. So, His Excellence, you're here, man. So when you're here, I don't pray.
Okay, now we can.
Your prayer is much better than mine, even though God listens to both of them. But
yeah, we can pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this night. Thank you for this great show that you've given us. Thank you for this opportunity to share and empower each other with knowledge. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Amen. That's cool. All right.
Yes.
Well, what really happened with the teenager issue? Let's start with that incident first.
Yeah. There's an incident of teenagers who went to sort of a nightclub. We call them taverns. Where the kids apparently it's 21 teens, by the way. Most of them were underage, and the legal age for drinking it's over 18. It's 18 years in the country, unlike in the US where it's 21, or in other places where it might be maybe over 21. You have to be over 21 to get it, but here it's 18. But then the teenagers that were found to be drinking, most of them apparently were under the age of under the drinking age limit. So, and it was packed. I mean, I saw the videos there. It was packed. It was like a street party, and also there's a place where more people were buying the liquor, and I think it has a club and whatever. And apparently they say it's gas, but actually we are here to find out what happened there, whether it was poison or it was a gas that was leaked. And then obviously people are in a very enclosed environment. Most of them were found inside the club or the tavern. So hence there was like 21 people that died. But when you see the footages of the earlier before the incident happened, you see a lot of people. There was no way cars can even pass there. It was on the street, inside. It was really overcrowded, and you don't know whether it was a stampede. We also do not have really the actual reason what happened really there. But there's still investigation going on. I'm sure in the coming weeks or so, we should find out what really happened in that place, whether it was a stampede, whether it was gas, as some people are saying, whether it was poisoning. We don't know as well. I mean, it shocked the nation. And when you look at most of these kids are like 14, 15. I mean, those are really young kids, I mean, to be engaging. And right now in the country, by the way, we have the school system here. there's currently the high schools and the primary schools are closed, unless if you go to a private school. Some private schools might be open, but for the majority of public schools are closed at the moment for the winter holidays. I think they're only going back to school, I think this coming week. This coming week. I think this coming week, Monday, they're starting again. The school reopens. And also sometimes the school system is a bit different in terms of there's the coastal the people who are in the coast, they also close in a different. We find that inland we have inland and coastal. So if you live in an inland province, let's say you live in Dodoma, for example, Mika, you won't close your schools, like let's say, and then there's somebody, your cousin who stays in Dar es Salaam. Your cousin who stays in Dar es Salaam, they might close earlier, and then you guys close a week later. Like I don't know how they came up with that system, but somehow
you say it's wintertime. Does South Africa have a different time when summer and winter starts?
Not really. We don't really do those things a lot. Like in most cases, we do have winter, but our winter is not like American winter or like European winter, Russian winter. It's quite good. I mean, it's not crazy, but there's places that are extremely cold. Yes. So, but for the most part, it's cold in the morning. Cold in like now, the temperature drops. And then during the day, it's fairly warm. You know, it's not that bad. You can wear a light sweater. You can. So some places it's extremely cold. Some places it's just warm. Some places are a bit hotter. Like as you go further north of the country, like as you go to another province called Limpopo, they also have their own winters. But every province is a bit different. But there's those the provinces that are very cold. It's really the high mountainous places are very cold this time. And then other places are cold at night and in the morning. Then during the day, it's just cool. And there's places that get snow now and then during winter, by the way. So that's basically about the winter. And there's places that get winter rainfall, like Cape Town, for example. They have a winter rainfall. But for the most part, if you come to Joburg here, if you go to Pretoria, if you go to other cities, we don't have rainfall during winter. It's only the Western Cape or they're in Cape Town where they have winter rainfall. But during winter it's dry. Like it's dry, man. It's dry. Most places are not green. It's dry. The grass it turns brown. It's not. You won't really get the nicest pictures if you're looking for nature pictures, like the greenery and whatnot. You know. Obviously, there's places that are like some plants are green regardless of seasons, but for the most part, it's really dry. Even trees they shed their leaves. Some places, like where I stay, here in my house, there's a lot of trees that have lost their leaves.
Died.
But come summertime, springtime, the greenery starts again. Anyway,
yeah. And so for that incident, I think we're gonna know very soon what really went down. And the other one, do you have any information about the other one?
The other one, I'm not sure as well about the other one. Was it the one with the kid that fell into was it like sort of a ditch or something like that?
It's like 2 days ago, like almost 15 people died in a mass shooting at the bar in Soweto.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was about the kids. Oh, yes. That one is also making headlines. It's making headlines.
Killed. Yeah.
21 killed. Apparently, from what I've been listening to the news as well, just like everyone, it's also one of the main topics that's trending in the country. I think they're still looking for the killer, the person who shot the people outside the club. 21 people, from what I hear, it's a rifle was used for that connection, because it's not easy if you holding a small pistol to kill 21 people. So apparently a rifle has been used for that incident, but the shooter, people are still looking and searching for this person. But I think they will make an arrest because this is one of those things that is making that's trending on the news, and a lot of people want to know what happened. and obviously the families of those people as well. And when was it? Monday, somebody was even making a joke saying, I know it's a sad thing, it's not something to really laugh about, but it's somebody who goes clubbing and who drinks and stuff. He was telling me that, you know what, they were making fun and say, hey man, nowadays it's not safe to go to clubs anymore. You never know. Hey, you never know. Now we're gonna go to clubs wearing bulletproofs and because they're scared of being shot at. And there was also on the social networks, there was people who were making fun as well, saying, "Oh, now you wear bulletproof to the club. Next thing they poison you, poison your drink, and you die. So you never say it. You never know, you know." So, but it was they were making it a joke, but it's a sad situation that is very sensitive, and condolences to those families and friends who know those people. And but one of the things that we can really talk about as well is violence. South Africa has so many topics that you really can talk about. Violence in the country is not something that that doesn't really that also tarnishes the country in a bad light. Violence generally. When I say violence now, I'm including crime in there. I'm including a lot of things, that gender-based violence, a lot of things that go in there, you know. And I guess since the move to democracy, a lot of things was put in place at a short time, and people had to now, because people are coming from an oppressed society where. And another thing, in terms of the history, now going back to history, and some of the violence where it comes from, if we can touch on that, the history, the political history, and
so for that, His Excellency, you're gonna need to start from the beginning. Yeah, because we're shifting the gear from the recap of what was happening. So now you're gonna start from the beginning, the history of South Africa. You know, what is South Africa? Everything, the names, and you know how we do it.
South Africa, the name says it all. It's not a name, doesn't mean anything, but it's a geographical location, the south of Africa, South Africa. You know, the last, you know, southern part of the continent. You know, so it's just a geographical location, geographical name for a country. I think in the continent we have what South Africa and Central African Republic, that are just, their names are based on their location. It's not a historical name that mean anything else, but just the location of a country where it's located. So
is there any local name before that?
Not that I know of. I've heard people saying Azania, but it's all political. I don't think even Azania is really the name that is a South African name. It's just a name that some politicians had that name in mind to change it, because they didn't believe in the name South Africa. There's still even calls, by the way, for the name change of South Africa. There is from other political spheres to change the name to some name that will mean something. Some people are resisting to that change, saying the name, at least it sort of unite people, because it's not coming from any tribe, it's not coming from any language, it's just a name. But then some people will say no, but it's still an English name, it's not an African name. So it's still a battle to put up something that will really be concrete for everyone to choose a name.
We can call it in Swahili, Afrika ya Kusini.
Yeah,
that's it. Okay, even call it in Zoo, whatever, in whatever language, Afrika ya Kusini.
And you know, by the way, they on the coins of the country, the money, there is names for, they do put the names in African names in all 11 official languages, by the way. But I think it's bound to be 12, because the sign language is going to be recognized officially. I'm not sure if they already signed in law that it will now be an official language, meaning in every, whether public, whatever, there has to be sign language stuff there being put in place. And okay, on the news already, there is sign interpreters already, and even government announcements and stuff, there is that already in place. But now, as an official way, it's official. Whether you go in any public place, there has to be something that will cater for people who are with the special needs, people who can see or who can talk and things like that. So sign language is also going to be signed. I'm not sure if it's already signed. I think it's signed into law that it will become official, just for them, the formalities and all that. But in the country, there's 11 official languages. And on the money, there is, like, for example, in Zulu, South Africa is called Innings in Africa. No, Mzansi. Sorry, Mzansi Africa, man. It's Mzansi Africa. What am I saying now? That's the means in Africa. It's awesome, man. Sorry. I'm now confusing the two languages. It's Mzansi Africa. Some people know South Africa as Mzansi, by the way. They call it Mzansi as a street name, but Mzansi means south.
Mzansi.
Yeah, Mzansi means south.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I like that, man. Yeah. I like that.
How do people communicate, though? Because there's 11 official languages and people live in different places. Because I see sometimes in Parliament. I see sometimes in Parliament, someone they'll switch from English and then the two other tribal languages. I don't even know what's going on because I don't understand the language.
Yeah, I mean, it's official. When it's official, meaning if I'm a public representative and I'm in Parliament, I can use my language. I'm entitled to use my language. I'm not bound to speak English or any other language. But if I feel comfortable doing my speech in English, I'm more than welcome to use my speech in English. But if I feel that I want to use my language, my African language, to raise a point, it's official. There's interpreters for those who don't know the language. But for the most part, as a country, our country, what's interesting, some of the things that really help our country, most people can hear each other's languages, by the way. It's just few where people miss certain things. Because if you watch our TV, like from the public, yes, there's other languages that dominate more than others. But you find that in a story, like let's say a soap, a series, a movie, whatever, you find that you'll be watching a story and then somebody who's speaking in Zulu, somebody might be talking in Sesotho, somebody might be talking in Sepedi, in the same story. Somebody will speak in his Zulu and the other one will speak in his Sotho language. So, and people are aware, we hear, and also the news, they also come in all different languages. All the official languages, there's news slots for them in the public channels, for example. So it's much easier, and also we I think as a country, for the most part, it's more urbanized. There is rural areas, but most people are urbanized, whether it's small town, big town, or a small city, or even the what we call metro cities, which is the big cities like your Johannesburg, Cape Town, and all of them. But people mostly we live in a multi-racial, multicultural societies where it won't be foreign for me to hear another language, even if it's not my language. If I hear a person speaking, it's easy for me to hear him, even though I might not respond in his home language. I might respond in my home language, and then that person might hear me. But there's words that sometimes some people they might not understand when you go deeper. But sometimes people, as people, other Africans, we also speak English to meet one another halfway, sometimes to be official, so that some people won't be asking, hey, what does that mean? What does that word mean, So, yeah, but for the most part, we can hear one another in different languages, but people will choose to respond with their own home language. And for the most part, South Africans don't really speak English, especially, let's say, as Africans, we don't really speak English we speak English in universities, in the official places. But if I get Mika and he's my homeboy, we speak our own language in most cases. We change that English. When you find out, you speak, we start speaking our home language now. We talk. We speak our Swahili, we done.
Yeah.
We sort
I love that, man. I love that.
And then, there's people who prefer English, much easier for them. It's understandable, Yeah. And there's people who struggle with English as well, and it's understandable. You have to kind of meet them and just say the basic, and they'll hear you. They'll be fine. They'll assist you. But for the most part, most people speak English or they hear English. It's not gonna. It's rare where you find somebody who will be really not hearing you when you speak English. But but once we are in our comfort zone, man, we switch.
Okay, that's cool. I
You
learned
know?
some of your language before I come there.
Mm. You
Let's
know?
keep on with the history, man.
The history, yeah. The history is very interesting. Looking at the history, I think sometimes history now in our continent, if I may just use the continent as an example, is our history somehow we've kind of made it as if our history started when the Europeans started coming more to Africa. It's not that they only started coming in like 400 or 500 years ago. I think they started coming here for the longest time. Africa has been trading with other parts of the world. But the new coming of Europeans in Africa changed things. I mean, let's say from 1600s, that's where a lot of things started happening now. With Europe as well not being stable. Sometimes I think we think Europeans everything was all smooth for them, and they just decided we are conquering the new world. No, they were also, some of them left Europe because there was infightings, there was instability, and Europe. If you look at now how Europe, became powerful. Let's just say my estimation is Europe only became powerful like the last 200 years in terms of what we are running now, where the system where the Europeans seem to be powerful than other parts of the world economically. But for the most part, they were not. So, but anyway, history for another day that we can debate. And then for us now, as we are like having so yeah, and right now, for example, looking at the history that we have here, it sort of started where the European history, where they came to settle in the continent of the southern part of Africa. A settlement started most people say from 1652, which was Jan van Riebeeck, who was coming from Netherlands. People will tend to think history started there when the white people settled. But obviously, South Africa has always been a stop for trade. We've been like the guidance of trade. Imagine if Africa today, if Egypt and Israel had to say, no one passes through the Suez Canal. And if South Africa had to say, anything that's coming from Asia, going to Europe, or anything that has to move between Asia to maybe Europe again, they cannot pass through South Africa. They cannot pass through Cape Town. Then, which means the trade is, it will screw people up. There will be really chaos in a way. So remember, at some point, the biggest trading route between Europe and Asia was through West Africa, Southern Africa, East Africa, and then they'll go east to India for spices, for other things as well. So our continent has always been busy, and all around the continent. So it's not just specific places that Africa has interacted with. Everywhere, south, north, all the whole Africa as a whole. If you look at our map, I wish I was going to say, but if you look at our map, we've traded. Every part of our continent is traded with some people out externally, and all their ships pass through the whole continent. And how they discovered Cape Town was through trade. If it wasn't trade and finding that Cape Town, for example, as a trading route. And by the way, they Vasco da Gama, another history, came before the Dutch and the British, for example. The Portuguese were one of the first explorers as well. They came earlier as well around the continent. If you look at the Portuguese, they've been in almost most parts of our continent, whether in the southern part, whether in West Africa, even in the south, in the east. They've had ties that they've landed their ships there at some point because of trade, because of slavery, because of other things, So, so how South Africa was founded was more about trade. As the ships were moving from Europe, they needed a stopover, and Cape Town became a stopover for a lot of European ships. And then that's how they started seeing that, this is a place where we can get refreshments. But now the Dutch, they saw an opportunity that they can make wealth here, they can settle here. and build something here as a port, as a city where other ships, they can come and dock for a certain period, refresh, reload, and move forward to Europe or to the east. So that's how for example, the Europeans started coming in and obviously started going inside the country. But that's another history that we'll have in part 2, how they started going in, the infighting between the Europeans in South Africa, for example. Because people don't know that there's another history where they also fought among themselves. It wasn't always that they always agreed and were all united, and then they conquered other tribes. So that's how they got in. And but them coming into the continent, we started having obviously a lot of infightings. There was other things that started happening more, and people started losing land. And but where most people lost land was mostly in the 1800s and early 1900s. That's where most black majority started losing land in South Africa, in terms of whether it's agricultural land or their own villages where they used to stay. So, for example, even my my late grandmother, God bless her soul, they also have a land claim where they were also forcefully removed from where they used to stay back in the days, you know, their family. So anyway, so yeah, that's how basically most people were started losing land. But also the divide and rule applied. Well, after the Berlin Conference, obviously the divide and conquer policy started manifesting in the whole of the whole continent. So they knew that most black people or Africans, they stayed in groups, they stayed in communities, but they also, as Africans, they also had enemies or people they didn't trust because of also historical ties. So as tribes, where if your tribe, they once stole your cows or your goats, then you guys fight for land or pastoral land or other things. That's where now they go and make you fight along those things, where they say, we can help you fight your enemy, or we can we can help you with this and this and this, so that you can defeat your enemy, you know, only to weaken yourself. Once you take your brother out, you are more vulnerable. They already know your secret. You've told them so much about your brother and yourself, and then they can easily conquer you and stuff. So so partly they started moving in, and the history now in terms of the politics of racial segregation. I'm just moving ahead, guys. You'll excuse me. I can't tell the history. We'll have a session for history, just history.
Okay.
Part A to part B, B, C, like that. Because now I'm just touching and moving forward because of time. Because we have another show coming, education in the 21st century. 9 p.m. Professor Ezra will be here, family. So stay tuned after this as well. So yeah, because of time. The racial segregation, the policy, it was called apartheid. For some people know apartheid, the word apartheid, which was the segregation of people. You stayed according to your tribe. If you are a Sotho speaking person, you live only with the Sothos. If you are Zulu, you sit with the Zulus. If you are Tonga or Sharan, you stay with your people on your side. And imagine His Excellency Mika, let's say in Dar es Salaam, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you, like in the city, in one city. I'm not even talking about like rural areas now. We're talking in the city. You live in one city, but then you are all living according to your tribes and where you are from. That's a racial, how this system was not just about color. It went deep into even how as tribes you live. If in the same city, you'll be saying maybe in the beaches, only white people live in the beaches. Maybe the Indians will live maybe in the inner city. The black people will live in the outskirts. And where the black people live, they also do not just live according to just as people. They now have to live in sections where we'll say this section is only for maybe Zulu speaking only, and there will be Sothos, there will be all people. So they'll divide them according to tribes and language. So And obviously then opportunities, as Africans, you're not allowed to obviously attain certain opportunities. You're not allowed to have certain jobs, and even pay. You're not allowed to obviously have access to any kind of pay. So all those things, and even movements. I saw my sister was saying she's moving around. I think she's going home somewhere, and back then you will not just move from one place to another without a permit. So you need a permit. Let's say now to move from Dodoma to Dar es Salaam, you'll need a permit, for example. Or moving from Johannesburg to Cape Town, you don't just drive. You have to get a permit.
It's like you need a visa. It's like you need a visa to move around your own country.
Exactly, and you have to carry it with you, by the way. But it's your country, but you have to carry it wherever you go. Man. So that also goes, that now another part of history in the 60s, where there's what we call the Sharpville Massacre. It's also a township outside in the southern part of Johannesburg, where people demonstrated against that law called, they used to call it the Dom Pass, which, you know, so when they were rebelling against them and banning them, they were shot by the police. And by the way, that movement was led by one of the oldest Pan-Africanist movement in the country, because I think sometimes they don't talk about the Pan-African movement in the country called PAC. It's if some people who are really political, who know political heroes of Africa, they should know, or go and search Robert Sobukwe. They'll know that he's also one of the leaders of that movement. He's also a Pan-Africanist, another brilliant Pan-Africanist. So they were also coming from the ANC and started the Pan-Africanist movement in the 60s, I think late 50s, early 60s. And that's when even the incident happened. They led that movement. They said people must ban them. They must rebel against that system. And then police shot them, and, you know, during that demonstration. And even today, we even have a holiday remembering that day. It's called the Human Rights in the country. And what else? Yeah, and the history goes further, man. And then obviously racial segregation in terms of where you stay, where you live, how you move. Everything was monitored, and opportunities. As Africans, we are not allowed to become anything we want. So for the most part, after '94, most black folks, it's others. It's maybe you find that in a family, His Excellency, you are the first graduate in your family. So you're the you are the first one to break that generational curse or generational thing, you know, where no one has ever been to university. You are the first one in a family maybe to go to university. You're the first one to be an engineer in that family. You're the first one to own maybe a car. You're the first one to own a mansion as a black person. So things like that, I mean, how Africans had to endure and had to even overcome to be where they are. I mean, others, yeah, maybe even first generation entrepreneurs, maybe some case, maybe even the first generation entrepreneur, maybe she's a third generation. Some people it runs in the family, but some people he's the first one in his family, or he's even the only one who's doing business, like who's really making money. So for the most part, I mean, it's been only what, 94 to now is like 28 years. 28 years of democracy where people can do anything. I mean, they can choose any career they want. They can marry who they want to marry, you know. So it's a long process. And I think sometimes, this is my feeling, I think sometimes people tend to expect more from South Africa, to just do everything all at once and just achieve in a short time. But it will take, some things will take years, others we have to move forward and make it quickly. As you said about time, that we need to move. Things are moving slow. So yes, we need to move fast as a continent. And I think even here in South Africa as a country, there's things that we really need to move forward. And they should be the top priorities of the country to make sure that education, unemployment, all those things are covered. Entrepreneurship is promoted. All those things need to be put forward in terms of the country, and to make sure that the country develops faster and include everyone, because the main thing is getting people together. I mean, helping or making ways that people can really get opportunities in the country and be productive citizens instead of being on the sidelines. I think that's basically what is needed in the country. Yeah, that's part of the history. But there was a lot of demonstrations against apartheid, and apartheid became law in 1948. But racial segregation and all those things have already been there even prior to it being passed to law in Parliament in 1948. So, and people obviously losing land and all the other parts. So land is also another big topic. Maybe I'll leave that to Samke. Maybe she can cover the land part, entrepreneur part as well. I'm not sure if she's in a good space to talk or she'll stop somewhere. I don't know.
I think she's heading back home right now. Until she gets there, yeah, I think she'll be able to. Yeah,
that's okay.
Sibayeni.
Greetings. How are you?
Sibayeni. Good. It's good to see you.
Good. Just to do the proper introduction, I'm Chunda, South Africa, from Sibayeni Metro Farming. And apologies, I'm on the road. It's such an unexpected emergency. I had to run to. My son is not well, so I couldn't stay at home. I had to be, so I'm just rushing to get help for him at the moment.
I'm really sorry.
Otherwise, I'm not driving, so if the sound is not a problem, I can still be able to talk. I'm just indicating that unfortunately I couldn't sit at home.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's not okay. So the night might be too long if I stay home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna raise a word of prayer, at the end of this for your son, so that God may heal him.
I really need that a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm emotionally drained, so I do need emotional support. Yes.
Yeah, you got it. And there's a reason why we plan this, this stream for today. You never know, so that we may carry you into our prayer. Because if we didn't have this, then we wouldn't know it. And so there must be a reason. And your son will be fine. We'll pray for him.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah. Yes, His Excellence. I think you asked her question, so you can just keep going, because this is your show, both of you, and and we are here to just witness that and to listen to that. And we have Pai here as well. He's the man behind this vision. He wanted to have this conversation. So His Excellence.
Thank you so much for that. I actually did listen. I think my brother has covered the basics so much well, and I'm so excited. He actually covered the things that I was scared of. That is talking to the before apartheid time or before democracy time. So now I feel comfortable to actually take over from there and be able to talk about things that I was able to see in the history of South Africa, because the other part, I think I wasn't able to see. I could only read about it or hear about that part of the history. So please allow me to take it from democracy and speak to that kind of history going forward. I think that transition was a very difficult one for our country, and the leaders at the time did what they could. Some of the things we are so happy about, and some of the things we are still complaining and saying they could have done it differently. But hey, we know the challenges that comes with transitioning from whatever situation, regardless whether it's politics, it's whatever space that you think you could be in. But one thing that I noted so much is with the change or the transitioning of our country into democracy, it actually gave hope not only to South Africans but also to our neighboring countries. Those are some of the things that we are slowly trying to work on and bring it together even right now. That you can see the excitement that comes from our sister countries when they find struggle in their own countries and they like, we want to go to South Africa for greener pastures. South Africa currently is home to people from Lesotho. Actually, we take the whole SADC and even go beyond that. Without counting each and every country by name, I think let me not count all of them. But we've seen that our country has set a standard in that, and the reason for people to actually leave their own countries, their own families and space and say, I am moving to South Africa. I believe that when I go to South Africa, I'll find a greener pasture. It actually means there's something that was done well in that, and they really appreciate it. So that's one part. One may look at it in a different way, especially the generation that came after 2010 may look at it differently because currently there are challenges that comes with that. But it can only mean that we didn't have a plan. We only had a plan to transition the country as South Africa. We didn't have a bigger vision of encompassing other countries that are now interested in coming into the country. Hence, there are so many challenges, which I'm going to talk about, that have emanated from that over the years. First, we've had a change fatigue, especially in the political sphere, wherein our leaders believed that because they were part of the struggle, because they were part of the liberation of the country, therefore it means they were born to lead politically, and some of them have actually believed that they can be able to lead forever, meaning once they take a seat in whether in parliament or wherever politically, they actually don't want to let go. Those are the struggles. Secondly, that there has been so much transformation in many spheres, and the leaders are still, most of them are senior, is it senior citizens? Okay, most of them are a bit older in age, and some of the things you actually look at it and like, if I was young, if the leaders were younger, they would have taken a different position on this. They would have taken decisions differently. But because our leaders are real senior people, so it's difficult for them to sort of move with the time in most of the situations that we are struggling with it as a country. The other part is, I think my brother touched on it when he was talking about tribalism, that we, before democracy or during apartheid, we were very much separated into tribes. And somehow we got to believe that we are different, even though we are all South Africans. As a result, even now, after democracy, our history is still haunting us in a way that it will depend on who is leading at the time. let me be specific on this one. We started from the leadership that came from a Xhosa tribe. And at the time, people who belongs to that tribe used to sort of own everything, take power in everything. You know, like they felt they were above everyone in the country, or they could lead everyone. We moved to Zulu. We had so many challenges that even the country at some stage was referred to Zulu, and the language Zulu became the second language for every one of us, even those ones who are not from the Zulu tribe. And then now we're facing the North, and there's also such challenges as well that we are facing that comes with being that kind of in that tribe, believing that they have the power to lead the country, to tell everybody where to get off and all that. And those tribalist mindsets are unfortunately taking us back and making it difficult for us to come together, be united, and work for the growth and the benefit of the country as South Africans. The other part is the new struggle. We are currently facing, I'm a woman, by the way. I have to remind you that in case. Okay. You know, some of the things you need to be sure. Okay. We have a new struggle at the moment, and the struggle still goes back to history and also the slow transformation that we are facing. Being a woman, I've struggled a lot in wanting to be in leadership positions, and I would often be asked questions that are uncomfortable, that makes me feel that I may not be good enough to lead, not because there's anything lacking with my brain or the decisions that I take, but it is because I'm a woman, or there's a person who believes that they can only be led by a man, they cannot be led by a woman. And that comes from the times as well, because our great grandparents and parents come from a situation where only a man had a word in everything, and a man's word was the last word. The space of a woman is still a struggle. We're still pushing hard to get up there. However, the recognition is still a challenge. We battle with that every now and again. Getting in a high position, or even getting to technical positions, like for instance, I'm into tech. I think some of you who've listened to my presentation before, where I was talking about metro farming, would understand where I come from and what I do for my business. The tech part is all we focus on, in innovation. And the questions I often get when I go out there is, who's designing this for you? Who has made this for you? Who are you working for? And all those things. And that's when I get to tell that this is a mindset that comes from those years, and transformation has been difficult in that way, because people cannot afford me a space where I can show that I also have the same brain as you. I also can do things even better than you in this era, regardless of my gender. So the apartheid time is still, and everything that happened then is still haunting us and creating struggles even in this season. Engineering is one of the fields as well, where we always have to explain ourselves every now and again, and keep telling that I'm a woman and I can do this. And maybe moving on to another one, it's the challenges in small business as well. I run my own business currently, and we still face the challenges that were created at that time. I'm not sure when my brother started, he did indicate this part, wherein a woman needed to have a man by the side in order to own land, in order to take a loan from a bank, in order to, do a lot of things. You always needed to have a male figure by your side. Some people even took decisions of getting married just so that I'm able to acquire wealth or assets or do in our time, because we still get to levels wherein I'm bound by the in-community of property, and most of the assets, being a woman, will be under a man, regardless of whatever contributions that came with it. Also, to be trusted with loans and all other things. I think in my previous interview with Rika, I did indicate this part. When we go to banks and other financial institutions, it's easy for them to give me a loan that will take me back, that will keep me stuck in liabilities. But it is difficult for them to give me a loan for the business. So they always are willing to give funds for things that will hold me backwards, that will keep me backwards, that will frustrate me, that will get me paying back those loans for a number of years and so on. But things that are meant for the development of the country, those are not cleared. And that part as well, I still believe that if the leaders were younger, they would actually have a different vision that will be able to see those kind of things. Also, going back to the leaders, that the current leaders that we have a social, they are too social for me. They have a social mindset, care about grants, care about all these little things, and leave out bigger things like investments and business and so on. As a result, in my country, we're talking about South Africa anyway. In South Africa, from the moment you are born, you can actually register for the grant the very same month that you are born, and you get to receive the grant the following month from birth. But when you are at a stage where you want to start a business and you want to be economically viable, it will be a struggle for you to get any kind of financial assistance. So it's a number of things that needs that politically we are somehow liberated, but economically we still have all those struggles that we see, that are holding us back. And then lastly, it's the part that is not very much comfortable to talk about. Wow, I don't know how to put this one. We still, like I indicated at the beginning, we have a number of countries that have found hope and they have found home in South Africa after the democratic season that we were able to transition into. We now are home to all these other countries, and that actually has created a number of challenges as well that we face. Like, for instance, in as much as he indicated that in terms of the tribes, you'll find areas where there are Zulus are sitting here, Indians are sitting there, and so on. The very same thing happens with the the countries that are moving into South Africa, they also segregate themselves. And when there are issues, we don't tackle it as a country at the moment. Like, for instance, you moved from your country, say you moved from Mozambique or from Botswana, you came to South Africa. When people get to South Africa, we still don't attend and fight issues, whatever kind, whether it's economic or whatever struggles that we are facing. We're not attending to it as now South Africa. It is then a South African struggle, and let's work together to resolve whatever problems. So we still are able to point fingers and say, this one is from Zimbabwe, this one is from Eswatini, this one. As a result, we never get to attend to issues and problems from the core, because we spend much time pointing fingers at that one who is coming from whichever country. So those are the things that still needs us to work together, come together and say, now that you are in this country, then you are South African. The problems of South Africa, we will solve together, or we will battle in it together. So those are the things that I think I've spoken a lot about problems. I wish I can turn around and speak good things. But yes, at the moment, that's the state that we are in. And I'll hand over the airtime.
Do you think, before you end it over, I want to ask you a question, my sister. Do you think this is the crucial moment, crucial time that we need a leader in South Africa like Malema, who can actually bring the country together with his idea of having, one Africa, even in the country, and defending those people who are there from other countries? Do you think this is the time we need a leader like him to resolve these issues?
I'll respond in differently. I'll get back to the Malema part. I'll just talk to what I believe in terms of leadership. I've been in a number of leadership positions over the years, and also I have initiated a number of programs, projects, whatever things that you can think of that one requires to lead. And this is my belief, that in leadership, we are not the same. We have two kinds of people. There are those ones that we call bulldozers. A bulldozer is a person that will go in front, clear everything, and remove all the debris and whatever that you can think of, so that the road is clear for the one who comes from behind to be able to walk in a straight and leveled route. And then comes a person who will then lead in that space. The same thing that happens with cars when we are building the road. We put a bulldozer to clear the road, but once the bulldozer is done clearing the road, it is no longer allowed to drive in that tarred road. It has to be towed, because it will damage the road if it walks or if it drives over where it has cleared again. That's the belief that I have about leadership. The person who is built, who has the character to bulldoze or to clear the road, often that person is not good enough to sit in the office and lead. And you can fight those principles whichever way you like, but go to the countries and look at the people who came, who brought about liberation. You will realize that they were very good in the street, because they are built, they have that character of creating and clearing the road. But then when they get to parliament, when they get to leadership, when they get to offices, then they become a mess. They mess up. I believe, coming back to your question, I believe that a person like Julius Malema is a very good bulldozer. If there are problems and I needed those problems to be cleared, I'll call Malema and say, come and clear it, come and bulldoze, come and push this, come and, and he will do that. But when it comes to a person who will sit in the office, design a strategy that will grow the country for the next 20 years or 50 years, I'll put Malema on the side and then get a person who has the strategic leadership mindset to draw that way forward. I hope you understand my response. I hope I put it. But yes, that's my response.
I definitely understand, and I want to come back to your response as well. That you said it very, very well, actually. Even though I have to disagree with you to some extent that that is the case most of the time, but also sometimes it's not the case, because I can just take a little example from Tanzania. The famous bulldozer everybody were talking about, the RIP Magufuli, right? That guy, I mean, they knew him, everybody knew him long time ago, since 20 years ago, when he was just a minister and a member of a parliament, how he was taking his actions and, solving issues. He was a bulldozer all the time, and he became a president, and, just within 5 years, and you could see what he did in the country. But not only that, because he had a certain vision for the country. He had a certain vision for Tanzania. He had a vision that Tanzania needs to be in this place within this period of time. So within 5 years, I want Tanzania to be here, and within 10 years, I want Tanzania to be there. And some of the vision he was able to achieve even before the 10 years. So within 5 years, a lot of things that he has done, it's more than what has been done in 50 years of independence of Tanzania, right? That is a bulldozer, that kind of mentality, but also he has a spirit of leadership, knowing that where we are right now, we are here because of because we lack discipline, because we misuse time, because we don't do our work properly, and because we believe that we are poor and we're just looking all the time for donations and aids. But we can actually develop ourselves and use all the resources we have to transform our countries. And that's the spirit he had, and that's what actually transformed Tanzania to where it is right now. And everybody believes that this is possible, right? He's gone right now, but everyone, he's still living in that spirit that, oh my goodness, I never thought that we will be able to do A, B, C, D. So I just wanted to throw that to your face, that sometimes it's it is the case, because I believe when they become a leader, it's not just about a single person who can lead. I mean, it's not about one man standing, but you're a president, but also you have a lot of people working with you. So you always have advisors, people who can advise you in A, B, C, D, and people who can work with you to make sure that whatever vision and whatever heart you have for your country, then it's happening in a better way. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, I agree with you very much, that there are people who are able to hold both, actually. The character of a bulldozer and the character of a strategic leader. So it's very much possible. I guess my response was specific to to your question, to say the person that you used.
Yeah.
You said, would I consider Julius Malema? So for me, I'd love to have him as my bulldozer and not as my strategic leader.
All right. Okay. That's pretty. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you for for a clear answer. I think now I know who you vote for. I know who you
Oh,
are not
no.
and he's listening. Julius Malema, I hope you're watching.
Ezra does a good job being patriotic. We never know which side Ezra is on.
I know how to answer politically, eh?
Well, let's ask the same thing. The same question to you, Ezra. What would you say to the same question?
The question about thinking that don't we think we need a leader like Julius Malema in the country?
Like right now in South Africa, yeah.
I think, Malema, even as a character, he still divides a lot of people, to be honest. As a character now, besides his political ambition and stuff, there's people who still do not believe in him. And in terms of some of the things, especially now looking at his previous past, prior to him even starting his own political party and stuff, how he used to live and stuff. Some people will still nail him on those cases that he was also gaining from the government and all that stuff. Then when he was kicked out of the system that was also sheltering him and keeping him there, then he became, something else. But from my side, I think that's a good point, by the way, what she raised about a bulldozer. And like looking at her, she's coming from, there's a strategic guy that you think this one can come up with ideas, but the implementers is like you having a hitman. If you've got maybe 2 hitmen, that you've got a hitman that doesn't negotiate, he'll go do a job out. Then you'll get a hitman who's kind of undecided and who wants to negotiate. And then you get, so I think for what she said about strategically, Julius Malema might not be the person. But then in terms of if you want somebody to go do a job, if you want to say, I want you to go and beat up this person, Malema will be the first guy you can quickly.
Come on, man. Come on.
It's like, I think she put it in this way, like right now, like as Swahili Nation, as a team and stuff. So each one of us, His Excellency. Let's say now you want somebody that that is brave, and let's say you need backup. There's somebody who bumped your car and is fighting you and is giving you a hard time, and you calling your boys. I mean, amongst all your friends, friends that this ones they mean war, and there's friends they're good, but they're not.
I know Pai is my guy for that.
Yeah, Malema is the guy that
people there. Yeah,
yeah. He's I think it's a good point what she's making. I'll agree with her to a certain extent. I agree with her. They look like, in fact, they've been demonstrating that whenever they want to do something, they put their mind into it. And also what she said about how power sometimes changes some people. Some people were making the biggest noise before they went into power. And once they got into the comfort of a political office, hey man, they became so mute, their volume is very low, and actions wise they can't implement. And she made another thing, and what she said also is very important, that in Africa we've got guys that are good for campaigning. That person does not mean they can go into a strategic position and really implement in the structures of government, where there's systems, where there's procedure. Some people cannot work around those systems. They can work in a mobilization where ideas, where you can basically put them in a strategy, in a brainstorming session, but you can't really give them a task to say fully go and do this. Some people are just good for that, but in terms of political, in a strategic place, they will dismally fail. But give him something to do outside. Go and check the construction jobs of all the projects that government is doing, roads and stuff. Those are the people you can call and say, hey, Malema, go and check. For sure, people will start shaking and things will get done. As well, he can be the person in government, as you said, that the bulldozer. May he so rest in peace, President Makafuli as well. He was a bulldozer. And when I see Malema, when I see President Magafuli, the late President Magafuli, and when I see even President Putin, regardless of now the issues that are happening, they are like those people who are like, when they said to do something, they go all out and they do it. So it's a 50-50, you know, like for me, 50-50, he can be the guy that can help the country, but South Africa is not a country where, I think maybe some can also maybe attest to this, that South Africa is not a country where you can easily just rule it by just you pushing everything. You will get pushback for sure. As quiet as South Africa is, you don't see a lot sometimes about the pushback. People have their own mind. South Africans have, as I always tell some guys, that South Africa is not a very conservative society where if you come as maybe a religious figure, they'll just listen to you and you'll get voted, you know? So you will get the pushback, obviously. Even now, it's not everyone who believes in him. He says the right things to some people. Sometimes he also says things that even the country says, nah, man, that's not something that the country, you'll destroy the country with that policy. So some policies, they look good, but in terms of implementation, he also get criticized for some of the policies that he like, for example, a sensitive issue, some case in agriculture and all that stuff. I also want to hear her point in terms of agriculture, that policy, the expropriation of land without compensation, and land as a sensitive issue in the country as well. I would love to hear what she has to say. So for me, I'm answering politically. I'm trying to balance things here. But from my side, I think he can be a good leader. He can take the country forward. We do really need discipline in our country. Currently, I feel that politically we need discipline. Government, we need discipline. And sometimes another sector that's really being left loose in our country is also private sector. Private sector is acting. There's things that happen that sometimes it's seen as if it's the angel. It always does the procedures well. It's not doing all the wrong things, but as well, there's certain things that private sector sometimes it enables certain corruptions in even in the continent as a whole. But yeah, from my side, I think he can be a good leader. Certain things obviously he needs to be groomed on, or he still needs to learn on. For discipline purposes, I think he can be one person who can instill discipline for our country. I don't think at the moment there's a leader out there that can really instill discipline amongst South Africans. You know, currently there isn't really that strong figure, or even a fatherly figure. Sometimes you don't really have to be hard to instill discipline, but that fatherly figure who can really talk. When they talk, you feel like, hey man, I feel like I'm talking to my uncle, or I'm talking to my father who I respect dearly and stuff. You understand? Currently, we don't have that. Even if he becomes that leader, the bulldozer or whatever, but we still need a fatherly figure. As a president as well, you're not just a president for execution, whatever, decision making, but you also need that fatherly figure anointing, you know, where when you talk, people can also understand, even though they disagree with you, but they still understand. Like, you know, with the late Nelson Mandela, regardless of people can criticize him with other things, but he had the fatherly figure anointing where people even call him the father of the nation, you know, and because he could talk to people. Some people didn't agree with his policies, but they're willing to listen to him. And also he's willing to talk and listen to others as well. So some of the weakness that sometimes some people tend to see maybe in Malema is he listens to himself more than he listens to others. That can be his downfall as well, in terms of sometimes getting ideas as a collective, because as a country, you need a collective. So with Nelson Mandela, some people can say he sold out, he did this, but if you look at him as a fatherly figure, he listened to everybody. He knew that he understood the leadership, that as a leader, whether people agree with you or disagree with you, you still need them into the table. You don't write them off and say, that corrupt one, we don't need him here, or, you know, things like that. You have to always try to unite a country, regardless of religion, regardless of people who agree with you, don't agree with you, or even show you other things that you don't know, willing to say, hey, I didn't know this. As much as I'm a president, I also need to learn from my own people and others who might advise me as well. So that's something that I'm not sure how he'll take so far. That's some of the weaknesses that I've seen from a distance. I don't know much in his inner circle how he is, but those are the things that in leadership that you need. Like when we talk about great leaders, like even our our great leaders like Julius Nyerere, those are fatherly figures. When they talk, you know, even though you disagree with them, but you still have that respect in them to say, hey, the old man will listen to me. Regardless, I'm going to tell him what I have to tell him, but he's going to listen to me. So I guess maybe also being young, there's things that you totally dismiss when you have to hear it from others because you totally believe in this. So, but he can make a good leader as well. He will have his shortfalls just like anybody else. But one of his shortfall, I think, will be that listening to others as a collective, because there's things that can cripple even an economy or even a country, because you think you're all right, no one is right, you're the smartest one in the nation, you know. So that can be his shortfall. But if he can listen to more and bring more people to the table who can also give him other views, other knowledge, he can become a great leader, and he can be a great implementer of policies in Africa. A very efficient leader, if he can learn that trade. I'm sure, man. Like, and as I said, EFF is targeting the whole continent. It's not targeting South Africa only. So they've got leaders everywhere. So soon you see fires all over the continent, young, vibrant. And also one thing I like about their party is the young people that are very active in politics. Other parties, they have young people, but now I'm talking about forefront leadership. They're one of the organizations with very young people in the forefront of leadership positions, and who are raising their voices, who are not just dancing and music and, you know. And I'm not saying music and dancing is wrong for Emily. It's just something that there's also things that we need to build our continent on, you know. Policies, sitting in the position of power as young people and raising our voices, you know, instead of just us being the dancers of our nations. When you see when there's those events, if you go to those events, the political events, why do we sometimes, if you see young people, they're the ones doing the music, dancing, why are they not sitting there with the president in their suits and saying, yes, this is our point, this is what, you know, this is where we need to be as a continent, because we are the youngest continent in the world, and we are the ones that can take over the world, looking at our young people that are in this continent. Other continents are aging. Chinese, they're aging, man. South Korea, all those countries in Asia, Japan, their population is growing older and older. So we are a diverse continent that we can take over. And so yeah, my answer is I love their how it's young people led, and also bravery. I like them for that. So they can be a good leadership, but I think we need a lot of young people on the continent to run for politics and to be involved in the running of the politics of the country and anything that has to do with the country. Because the coming years, you know, today, if your government is taking any credit from any other country or organization, wherever, or bonds, they're making all these bonds and all that stuff, the people that are going to be paying is the youth, the young people that are saying, I have nothing to do with politics, because they'll be the ones who will be paying those debts. Imagine now, His Excellency, you are going into government. You know what cripples some of the leaders? They find a lot of mess in government. They spend 5 years trying to sort out and putting systems in place that will work. Next thing, people are anxious and they're angry. They just want quick fixes. That's where now some leaders fail, because they found a lot of mess. Like, you find your government has 85% of its GDP is in debt. How much can you borrow to develop more for your country? You find that you're also limited in terms of the resources. So also those things, I think as leadership, we need to be communicating more and talking about them. The debt of Africa. And young people, how are they going to pay those bonds 20 years, 30 years down the line? And they have to be in leadership, having to pay something that was taken like before he was born or during his youth, you know? But yeah, Pi, there's something you want to say?
Yeah, do you think South Africa will become a coalition government? Because it seems a lot of people are undecided on whether to choose ANC, EFF, DA, or even I heard Action SA is becoming more popular lately.
Yeah, I think already we're seeing that coalitions happening, especially in as I said, the big cities. I think with the exception of what is it, PE, Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha? They call it Gqeberha. Yeah, the most is coalition governments. No one has received more than 50% in the big cities. But overall of the nation, the ANC is still taking still wins the national elections and obviously install a president because of that. But I think in the coming years, we might have even a coalition government in terms of the government, which can be good for the country, I think, as well. No one will be sitting and comfortably. But again, coming to ANC, I think sometimes just to balance things out, ANC has done a lot as well. Considering the number of years, they've done a lot of things. And they've done also other things that are not, people are complaining about, things that they've not done as well. They've done a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot. I think I've said even before that when you talk about the electrification of rural areas in the country, that police, I can give it to them, because having family who lives in rural areas, they now have electricity. But prior 94, even after 94, most of them didn't have electricity. It was just in the urban areas. Now everyone has electricity in the country. If you don't have electricity, obviously maybe you might be living in informal settlements, what we call informal settlement, which is people that just see land and they build, and it's not on the municipal plans and all that stuff. But besides that, opening opportunities for Black students to go to universities, bursaries, and all that stuff, those are good policies. No one can dispute those. Also, even certain things, I mean, there's a lot of policies that are friendly towards a lot of, for the general population, and there's things that they failed dismally. And like now, for example, power is one of them. We've been experiencing load shedding as a country. They didn't plan properly for the future years, because some of the power stations are getting older, and we have to build more. They've started building, but they're not operational fully, and more things are still being built. Solar and stuff is being built. There's a lot of projects going on in terms of power. Yeah, man. So things like that, you can nail them for that, but at the same time, you can say they've reached out to all the people. It's no longer a luxury. It's no longer for urban people only to have such resources. They've opened the doors of government to each and everyone in society. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot that they did as a party. Even the policies that we live under. I mean, even the constitutional law, things that they've done under their leadership. They are positive. The implementation and stuff that can be questioned about them. But as a party, they've done so much. And I think even others who can say ANC has failed, yes, they failed in many things that are affecting people currently. But if you look at their history, there's things that people are enjoying today because of them. And what was the question again? I think I kind of
I agree so much with that.
And I think just to add to the ANC, just to give ANC also their props, is there's things that we can dismiss them right now. And some of the parties now, they can talk as if they can solve everything, but most of what they're trying to solve is they're also looking at ANC's policies and trying to modify and make it better. Most of their propositions, it's nothing really that I can say it's brand new. This policy we've never seen before. Most of them are just building on what ANC has built on. If they can also fix their leadership, implement things properly, obviously get rid of corruption and even perception of corruption, because corruption comes in two ways: the perception of corruption and the actual corruption. If you can destroy those two things, then you're more in the right direction. And also implement things properly and make sure that government projects really help the people. There's a man, if you see some of their policies on paper, His Excellency, they are very good. On paper, these policies, I mean, some countries are, when you look at them, if they had to implement this, like countries that really are effective, like your South Korea, even some part of China, if they have such policies, you can think, man, these countries, if they were in Asia, they'll probably be like #1 or something. And as a country, even South Africans, they know that South Africa is not economically, they know that it can be #1 again. It's just if they can fix a few things, because they have all the things they can build on.
Well, His Excellence and Samgalisiwe, do you have final words to say, my sister, before we go ahead and first pray for your son, and then end this session and leave a gap for the next session for the brain, Professor Ezra, for education in 21st century?
Oh, I'd like to say thank you so much for the opportunity and also for the reflections in what the country is about. I think I've taken some time to look at things that I've never looked at in a very long time in our country, but also to respond to the question about land distribution in agriculture. It's I feel that even though it's been an overwhelming situation, considering that the land distribution, in as much as when they talk about it, they actually phase it towards agriculture, but we actually need the land for a number of things, and it gets distributed to a number of things that we sometimes don't count into the space of land used for roads, land used for settlements. But like my brother indicated just now, that there has been a lot that the current political leadership has done in making sure that there is transformation from where before democracy and currently. A lot of housing has been provided and counted in millions for people living in the cities and also in rural areas. We've had a lot of land distributed to things like health, whether it's clinics or hospitals, education, a lot of schools being built, and so on. So when I look at it, I sometimes don't want to say it has failed, because I've seen the progress in other things. I guess in terms of the leadership, there has been a struggle in the agriculture space. So it's been difficult to distribute it fairly and properly when it comes to agriculture, which is very much understandable, because agriculture then becomes a business. And that's completely different. You see, when you build a school, everybody will be excited. Wherever you need approval and signatures, everybody who is responsible for that section or department or unit will gladly sign for it, because you're building a clinic. But when it comes to a distribution that goes to a business, then there comes questions like, who's the beneficiary? What's going to happen to the profits and all those kind of things? Then it complicates the reform, the land reform plan in itself. So hence it's been a struggle around the agriculture and mining, but it has been properly done in all the other parts where land is needed. Also, maybe to sit on a different corner as well and say, politics is very much short-lived. It's like sports. So I sometimes get to understand that the leaders in politics, it's difficult for them to distribute the land for someone to start a business. And when they actually know that my term is short-lived and I'll be out of this seat without income for the rest of my life, I might not come back to the leadership. So as a result, they end up prioritizing their own stomach now, making sure that the distribution benefits them more than it benefits the nation. So, so some of the things get complicated when it comes to that. However, I'm still proudly South African. I've seen so much progress over the years, from the time when I've been able to open my eyes and get to understand the history of my country and where we are before. Hence, I celebrate and enjoy everything that I get to receive that comes through and comes to my country, that holds the name South Africa, because I understand how difficult things have been for those ones who came before us and those who fought the struggle for us to have it easy today, or sometimes even if it's not easy, but they made it possible for us to be able to get education, to work, to do business, to make profit, money, and to expand, and even travel. Sometimes when we go to other countries and you hear people talk about this country called South Africa, you can actually see the pride in saying, South Africa, we've done well. We've done so much. And we believe that with the experience and little knowledge that we've taken within the season of democracy that we've had in the last 2 decades, we have the capacity to actually help the SADC to also find peace, find strategies to be able to come out and also live better as our neighboring countries, and also transition even economically, and be able to support the leaders, be able to find a way to support the local people and to create a growing and developing SADC together. So yes, there's great hope, and I believe South Africa has led in that, and I'm on it. Thank you very much.
Come on, somebody. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. We need those kind of voices, you know, in our countries and in our continent. Wow. I was feeling jealous here. I was like, man, I hope she talks like that about my country, you know. So I'm taking it for my country as well. Pi, do you have a closing statement as well? And then I will leave it to His Excellency Ezra, first of all, to lead us into a prayer, to pray for the little angel right there in the car, and then we can close this session.
No, I think Ezra can. Oh yeah, no, I think Ezra can end it. I don't really have anything else much to add. But I'll definitely rewatch this one to like take some notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
A few words.
Thank you very much, for His Excellency, for bringing us here today. I think we'll definitely have another session. I know that time maybe some people will also be in the right space. We can really allow more people to come ask questions, or even come to the stream as well. I know they're gonna say they want more and stuff. There's more questions that maybe we didn't touch on. But yeah, we can have another session when everyone is in the right space, and we can even maybe bring more South Africans as well, maybe others who are even fully in politics, even those parties that you talked about. Maybe we'll have His Excellency will have maybe His Excellency the CIC here with us.
we need to bring Mandela here, you know. We need to bring Mandela, you know. I need to try to reach out to him. We need to bring
and he can be reached for sure. Just we need to just string some, pull some, knock on some doors like hard, you know, and then
Ezra, if SNM was its own standalone platform and we had like 100 million subscribers, you can make it like Lux versus Malema. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't chase cloud. We just want it to be legit. You know, we want legit stuff. We grow organically. I think people like agriculture, organic. Organic growth. We don't want fertilizers and other funny things so much just to pop up. I think we're doing well, Pi. growing this channel like this, and we need to just keep on growing One Africa channel as well. To the guys who are subscribers, who are our subscribers on Swahili Nation, please do not forget to also subscribe to One Africa, our YouTube, our sister channel, One Africa. Let's push the numbers there. Let's make that channel grow as well. Since all this live streams, all the uploads will be going on both platforms. So please subscribe as well to One Africa and also to our GoFundMe project. Guys, we've got a GoFundMe project. I know now I'm moving away. I will have a closing statement, but I think this will be important that we also push the guys to know that we also trying to set up our offices in for Swahili Nation One Africa. Our target is 25,000 euros, and please, family, go and place your pledge. Anything from 5 euros. For some people who don't know about this, we've done this last year with our travel to Ethiopia. The videos that you've seen from Ethiopia, the travels, the hotels, everything. That was the pledges that you placed last year. For those who just joined us this year, please, family, continue supporting us and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like this page, and we will have another part 2 of this conversation where we can talk specific things, be it economics or agriculture. I think some case they're the best person for entrepreneurship as well. Wow, and I'm inspired, especially for as she said, some of the things about women in entrepreneurship or in careers and stuff, the challenges they have to face. And she's one of the fighters, one of the people who are holding the flag for the ladies and for Africa as a whole. But from my side, closing statement, I also love South Africa, as Samke said, proudly South African. I love South Africa as a country. I love the people, because any country, it's the people. And I believe that most people, whether in the continent or all over the world, get to know South Africans, interact with South Africans, mingle, be part of the society. Do not sideline yourself to just your community when you're in South Africa. Try to reach out, try to be in their societies, go and socialize with them. That's just one of the things I'll encourage a lot of Africans, socialize with other Africans in the continent. And for South Africans as well, interact with some of the other Africans and other people from all over the world. Do not limit yourself to just us, because there's a lot of people. So, but let's interact, let's get to know one another. Let's be in the same circles. Let's not just put ourselves in corners and countrymen, just like where you just put yourself as a countryman, you and your countrymen. So try to make sure that you interact, you reach out as well, and you get to learn more about the people. There's so much creative people. There's so much good people. There's so much good music. There's so much good food. I've heard somebody say South Africa doesn't have food. There's lots of nice, good food. There's a lot that you can learn, we can talk about, and we're going to learn more about that in the coming sessions. We'll have another session. We'll just have to plan. I think the next baby we're having pie is the horn again, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so for now, we will have another part 2. We'll have more people from other society, other parts of our other stakeholders in South Africa who can be part of this, and we can really talk more about this. And just a word of prayer, His Excellency. I don't know if you are back. To Samke's son, we speak healing, we speak restoration right now. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray that the young man will regain strength, he'll start eating. We pray for healing, a total restoration right now. And we speak healing, we speak life. We speak life right now in Jesus' mighty name. We speak life, and we speak a great future over that young man. That young man shall be a leader in our continent, shall be a leader in business, shall be a leader in wherever he goes. At school, everything that he touches, it will become gold. We speak life, and life in abundance in Jesus' mighty name. And we pray for strength right now. And we say, young man, rise up. You are strong, you'll make it. And we shall see you in great platforms in the coming years.
Amen. Amen to that.
Amen. I received the prayer. on his behalf, and I believe that he will be well. Next time when we talk, he'll be running around and making noise.
Amen.
Yes, yes. Amen. Amen to that. Yes, little guy. What is his name?
Makosi.
Makosi.
Wow.
I love your name, man.
It's a powerful name, man.
I don't know. I don't know what it means, but that's a powerful name. We love you, Makosi. Mwah, mwah.
Oh, he's too weak, man. He can't respond.
Yeah. No worries. I'll see him very soon, you know. I'll see him very soon. I'm just waiting for His Excellence to tell me that he has already prepared the room for me, special room, and then I'll be there. You know, I don't need visa to go to SA, so I'll go there anytime.
You need to prepare the mansion.
Hey man, His Excellency, we're busy building that mansion as we speak. So once you come here, once you land, you will land in a mansion. And when the house is still fresh, you know, the room, no one has slept in the room. You'll be the first one. You know, we'll feed you, man. You'll have your nyama choma, your everything, bro. You have, you know.
Ugali samaki, man. I can't wait, man. You know, I'm really serious. Like I was talking to another, family member. I was saying, man, like for me, to be honest, like I cannot stay at one place for a long time. Like right now, I'm already feeling like I need to leave. Like I need a motivation, and I always get a motivation when I go away. You know, like I need to go somewhere right now to just get that motivation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really thinking a lot these days that I just need to run away and go somewhere. You know.
Definitely. And it's coming, His Excellency. A lot is coming. I mean, for the viewers and our family, our Swahili Nation, One Africa family, continue supporting us. Let's work for Africa and let's continue making sure that we build this beautiful continent. No one is going to build it for us, but us, ourselves. We need to start working in building our society and our continent.
Indeed. Bloodline Elite, man, this guy said he can arrange Malema for us. Bloodline, I'm sharing with you our email here. Please do so, all right? would love to have a conversation with His Excellence Malema. This is the email, oneafricaofficial@gmail.com. Please, if you can share maybe your WhatsApp number there so that we may talk more and know how you can arrange it for us. Please do. You know, we'd love to have a conversation with this visionary people in Africa, and just to have a conversation. So please. Yes, our sister, appreciate. Thank you so much. All the best today, and we're gonna keep you in our prayer. And I'll give you a text later to know what's going on, and we're gonna keep praying for what was his name again? Ezra.
Samke. I'm shortening your name right now. Samke Lisiwe.
No, a little kid.
Oh, Makosi.
Yeah, Makosi. So yeah, I'll check on you later, and then I will update this crew so that we may keep you guys in our prayer. Yeah.
You know what Makosi mean, by the way, His Excellency, before we leave?
No. What does it mean?
Kings.
Oh, wow. You know, Makosi, it's very similar to one word in Swahili. We say makosa. Makosa means mistakes.
Wow.
Yeah, so Makosi is kings. That's beautiful. Kings. At least we know something like positive. Makosi. Oh, I will never forget that.
And that's like a plural word, but if you was a king, if his name was just king, then we'll call him Nkosi.
Nkosi.
Oh, is king.
Wow.
And Nkosi can have two meanings, by the way. Can have two meanings. Since as Christians, our Christians will say King of Kings, right? So Nkosi can also mean, besides king, it can also mean God. for reference. That's why we're on the national anthem, like we have the same national anthem as Tanzania.
Yeah.
About God bless Africa. It says Nkosi Sikeleli Africa. God protect Africa.
Nkosi Sikeleli Africa.
Yeah. So that first word Nkosi meaning God. So it has two meanings to it. So like with the Christian Bibles where they'll say kings, king of kings. So when we refer to a king also, when we talk about now the ultimate king, the superior king, our God, so we say Nkosi.
Yeah, Nkosi. Hey! Nkosi Sikeleli Africa.
So when there's a group of kings like us here, if it's me, yourself, and Pi, we are Amakos.
Amakosi.
Amakos meaning we are the kings.
Man, we are the kings, but I cannot fly to South Africa. Hey, Amakosi.
It's coming, man. It's coming, family.
Oh yeah.
Great life from SA.
Then yeah. Pi, that was such a great initiative, and I cannot wait for the next one that we're gonna be having about Horn of Africa again on 23rd. I'm excited for that as well. So always respect to you.
Yeah, and actually this time, one thing that we didn't have last time, we actually have someone from every region.
Exactly.
We have someone from, because I believe she recently made contact with Same again. So we have someone from the north in Somaliland. We have a Warsame in Somalia. We have Mo. We have Senuti, and hopefully Biggie and Ezra. Yeah. Professor Ezra can be there as well. Yeah. Or Yonatan.
Yeah. Actually, I'm in touch with Awa as well. So I think on this day we're just gonna need to actually inform her as well to be together. It's gonna be amazing. Well, guys, let me remind you again, man, about the fundraising that we are doing. So please, if you want to support, make sure to give or to donate for the Israeli Nation One Africa offices. I mentioned yesterday that I just realized recently, man, that there's so many Africans living here in Tanzania, like tribes. Like original tribes from Tanzania, I think it's less than the way it is, but most of them, they're coming from the outside. So we have like Rwandese, we have Burundi, we have South Africa, we call them Ngoni, we have Ethiopia, we have Somalia, we have Sudan, we have Sudanese, Ugandans, we have Kenyans, like everybody, Congolese, everyone, we have them here. And it's the tribes that right now it's kind of like considered as a, Tanzanian tribes, but all these people, they moved like long time ago, Tanzania as immigrants, and now they are Tanzanians, but then their originality is coming from all those different places. Like those Ngoni people, they're coming from the southern part of Tanzania. They moved long time ago from South Africa, and then you have Iraq people, in the northern part of Tanzania. They came from Ethiopia and Somalia. So I found out that my brother, he married Ethiopian. I didn't know. I found it yesterday. An Ethiopian. Like I just found it yesterday. Wow. So even those little babies that are my babies too, they have like Ethiopian blood. I had to talk to my sister-in-law to ask her that, hey man, where are you guys originally from? Because they look like Ethiopian. She's really beautiful. She's amazing. And I was like, where are you guys originally from? She was afraid to tell me because they don't really talk about it. Yeah. But I told her, I know your aim. I know your originality. I know you were born here, but I know your ancestors are coming from this part. And then she opened up, after that. I said, yes, we are coming from that side. And man, I was like super excited. I was like, man, like, look at this. So not only that, but so many different countries. It's kind of like a combination of mixed pizza, right? You have pepperoni, you have tomato, you have some meat, you have some sausage, you have some vegetables. If you're in Korea, you have kimchi in it. Like it's a pizza that compiles everything in it. That is Tanzania. I just realized that. And all these people coming here, they're living as Tanzanians, as one people. And So it makes sense us actually even starting with these offices, because we're talking about One Africa, and I'm just learning a lot about my own country right now, that, you know, there's a lot of people that are in here that, you know, they came from all over the, you know, continent of Africa. So yeah, let's support, guys. Let's do this. We're gonna fight for our people. We're fighting for our people, and we still need your support. You know, I've been in touch with the manager, and likely the place is kind of secured, but I don't know how long it will be. So I'm expecting to meet up with him tomorrow to kind of like talk to him and to know, But for the time being, guys, you can go and support if you haven't done that yet. If you have done, which I've seen a lot of people have done a lot of times, feel free to do it again. The link is in the comment section right there. That's all from me, His Excellence.
His Excellence, thank you for this opportunity. Pi, thank you for always bringing great initiatives and great ideas. Thank you very much, Pi. You are a blessing to us. And I think now for the family, please, we're going to just close this, and then Professor Ezra will be here in 10 minutes. So please join the stream. We're still continuing. There's a new stream. We're just going to go live again. After this, Professor Ezra will be coming in as well. So join Professor Ezra right now for the education in the 21st century. From my side, shalom.
Appreciate. Remember, we're going to see Pi's face. So I'm just going to end this live stream, and then I'll be here to see Pi's face for a little minute. All right, guys, we love you. See you very soon. See you at 9 p.m., guys. All right, see ya.